Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy the story. This was written by a real human. So please leave a like if you enjoy it to help the channel and subscribe for future content. It's free. Links to the story and Patreon will be in the description. Please go and support the author. Any support is always appreciated. If a human narrator would like to narrate my stories, please contact me. I write these in my spare time between work and my children and just don't have the time or quiet space to narrate them myself. I hope you can understand. Thanks for your time, and again I hope you enjoy the story. And for the love of everything YouTube, this is literature, so please leave my channel alone. Let's get into it, folks. Everything was dark. Where was he? Did he die fighting that abomination? He tried to move. Nothing worked. Bang. Excruciating pain in his leg and thigh. Then it was gone. In its place was a vague image of a blue elf. She was beautiful, with flowing black hair with a white flower woven into it. She smiled at him and his pulse began to quicken slightly. "Don't worry, Gregory. We will watch over you." He felt at peace. He knew her. What was her name? He started to panic. Was something wrong with his mind? He tried to focus and after a moment said, "Arnsa? Yes, my dear, now rest. You must get better." Her voice was so nice as she started to sing a soft lullaby. He felt at peace. Sergeant Gregory suffered multiple lacerations to his left leg and thigh, a shattered left arm and shoulder, 4 broken ribs on his left side and 3 on his right, another large laceration on his torso. Dr. Lee was saying. He could identify that voice. "I can only say whatever those 2 young women are doing to him, it's allowing his nanites to work harder than normal." He tried to move but nothing seemed to work again. He took a breath and focused. "Oh, my brave little monkey man," came a different voice. He tried to turn his head but again nothing worked. The voice had come from right next to him. Why couldn't he move? "You're in a coma," came a whisper in his ear. "I know you prefer to speak this way." The voice was close to Arnsa's but he could tell it was different. More playful. "Orlana?" he asked. She flashed an image of her sitting next to him in a hospital ward. "Yes, my love. Me and Arnsa take turns watching over you. I must say, it's amazing seeing how much damage your physical body just took. And Dr. Lee says after the Regan bath you should fully recover, with some time in therapy." Her image paused for a moment and then she seemed to brighten up as if she thought of something pleasant. "I can't wait to add your DNA to mine. Oh, I bet our children will be amazing." He would have groaned if he could have. Everything started getting darker as his vision started to get fuzzy around the edges as if he wasn't getting any oxygen. Orlana's face suddenly switched from playful to worried. "Doctor, I think he's having trouble breathing," he heard her say. Her real voice. It sounded pretty. That meant they were there with him. Darkness slammed into him like the force of a neutron star exploding, leaving him with a loud ringing as it drowned out existence itself. And then there was nothing. His eyes opened. They were crusty with something. He raised his arm slowly. He was weak. Something buzzed behind his ear, tingling. Then he heard 2 soft voices both in his head and as if he were submerged. "Please, Kalchalauka, don't struggle. Dr. Lee just hit you with a sedative to relax you. He asked us to convey this to you if we could. You made it through 1 Regan bath, and Dr. Lee and the staff here at Mars Station Medical are preparing the 2nd bath now." Arnsa and Orlana's faces appeared almost ghostly in his mind. He could feel his conscience slipping away. The darkness hovered above him like a perpetual fog. A slender hand suddenly touched his arm and he felt like his conscience was steadied somehow. And he realized he could see and hear. "What is this?" he asked, turning to look at an almost glowing Orlana. Another hand belonging to Arnsa gently grasped his other arm and he looked down realizing he was now the ghostly almost translucent figure and they looked solid. If maybe a little more beautiful than he remembered. "What's going on? Why am I like this?" he asked, panic starting to set in. He heard a loud noise as if through the fog and then felt warm everywhere as if he had suddenly been immersed in a warm liquid. "Don't worry about that," Arnsa said, pressing her suddenly ample cleavage against his insubstantial form somehow. He looked down at her. She was only a hand shorter than his height, which was nice. The special stem packs and minor gene alterations had put his final height at just under 8 feet tall and somehow he had maintained his size wherever this was. "You're with us now, Kalchalauka. We've decided to keep you company this time," said Orlana. Her voice was mischievous, and her hand slid up his arm and with a slender finger traced a scar running across his chest from a close call with a plasma blade while in a boarding action over Oculus Prime. "We were caught off guard earlier, unfortunately," said Arnsa from his other side. Her hand still rested on his arm, but now he found his hand resting on the inside of her thigh. But this time we were ready, came Orellana's sensual voice. She moved her hand up to his lips. This time we'll keep your mind occupied while your body finishes healing. Arnsa's hand suddenly grabbed his crotch, and as he looked into her suddenly not so innocent-looking eyes sparkling with an intense fire, she said, "Don't worry, love. We spent plenty of time researching ways of keeping you stimulated." The smile she flashed up at him was nothing short of predatory. Somehow he knew he wasn't going to have any say in what happened next. "Gregory, can you hear me?" came Dr. Lee's voice. "I need you to wake up, Sergeant." His voice was soft yet commanding. His eyes fluttered open, the light blinding at first. Orellana and Arnsa had left him to rest only moments ago, it seemed. He coughed, some sweet liquid of the same consistency as syrup out of his airways as he turned sideways to expel it. He raised his hand to wipe his face as it felt like it was covered in the same liquid and found a soft towel gently wiping it away. After a moment he realized it was being held by a slender blue hand. He followed it up to Orellana's smiling face. "Don't rush it, Sergeant. Your body just went through a tremendous amount of stress healing all those wounds," Dr. Lee said. "Orellana will help clean you up." The man chuckled. "You took a lot of physical damage to your body, Sergeant. If you wouldn't have received those stem packs and gene mods for your extra heavy weapons training, and the military-grade nanites, I seriously doubt we would be speaking right now." Gregory looked up at him, already determining he was too weak to fight off Orellana, gently toweling the syrup-like substance off him. "You should also be grateful for Orellana and Arnsa's help while you were near death. They truly saved your life multiple times." He grunted as he stood up. The man was getting quite old. Gregory had known him for 15 years and the man still looked like he did the day he met him. "Yeah," he managed. "The little fuckers got me pretty good, didn't they? Ah well, I'm still here, so obviously we won. Mission accomplished," Gregory said, managing a shrug. He cracked the Dr. a lopsided smile as Orellana continued to fuss over him. Dr. Lee let out a laugh and walked over to a small duffel bag. He picked it up and walked back to the bed he had managed to sit up in. The doctor tossed it on the bed at his feet. "Get dressed when you can, Sergeant." He turned to walk out, stopping at the door to say, "I'll need to talk to you after you regain your faculties fully. We have," he looked at Orellana before continuing, "some things to discuss." He strode out, leaving Gregory staring at the door. What's that supposed to mean? He managed to swing his legs over the edge of the bed. He grabbed the duffel bag and unzipped it. "He speaks about Arnsa, I believe," Orellana said in his mind. He looked at her as she helped him pull a loose shirt over his head. He recognized it. It wasn't from his locker. It was from his old room at his parents' house in New Delhi. "Yes, your queen mother is here. She is a formidable woman. I like her very much," Orellana said with a slight smile. "What happened to Arnsa?" he asked as she helped him up. He felt her go stiff. As he could have swore, she blushed a purplish hue. Was those freckles? "She has done something that we have not done in a long, long time. She has spun herself a cocoon in our chambers. She won't answer me. And our mother started praying to Ashilka, the Great Mother." He felt something radiating from her. Was that what worry and fear felt like from her? It was a distinct feeling. She knelt awkwardly to help him step into his boxers. He was well past the modest point with them after what they had done together while he was in the damn Regan bath. "Will she be all right?" he asked, surprising himself as he felt genuinely concerned. "And please speak to me like this, Orellana." She turned that slight purple color and he was sure he saw freckles this time. I'll try my best. I am not used to speaking like this, Kalchalalka." She helped him put a pair of loose pants on. As she helped ease his weak body back into the bed, he said, "Thank you, Orellana. I mean it." She stopped, still holding on to him, and flashed him a genuine smile. He could tell it had caught her off guard. "You are a great warrior, Gregory, and an excellent drone. Our hives will be unified and powerful thanks to you." It took her a little bit to say it, but it instantly put his guard up. He could sense she felt it as she withdrew. "Don't worry, we were shown the recordings you are thinking about. Dr. Lee thought it important after he figured out we were intent on carrying this out." She turned away and grabbed the pair of socks lying in the duffel bag. He jumped as she playfully tossed them at him. "We think we worked out how to satisfy both our needs and desires. I know I'm repulsive to you like this," she said, gesturing at her extra set of arms and large thorax. "We were consulted by both a human geneticist and allowed to speak to Miss Zava." She explained how humans carried compatible DNA to the viril. The geneticist explained it like this. She paused, watching him pull the socks up. Our species is one of only a few known that have enough shared DNA to be viable for integration. Integration, Miss Zava explained, was a process in which the virile change. She paused, taking a step to the door and retrieving a pair of boots. He couldn't help but be interested. What do you mean change? He asked, feeling slightly winded. His stomach growled loudly, reminding him he hadn't eaten a real meal in a while. She placed the boots on the ground, allowing him to slip his feet in them. She spoke as he began lacing them up. We evolve very fast. Miss Zava shared ancient stories of when we acquired our secondary arms, our telepathy, our silk weaving, everything we can ever become. She says what we have been taught is wrong. She knows that now. She stopped talking and took a step towards him, making it a point to look into his eyes. Her pink orbs seemed to pierce his very soul. It's the females of our species that carry the burden of ensuring our next generation is strong. But somewhere along the way, our mothers forgot something else. Something just as important. That strength doesn't come from us. It comes from necessity. We need strong drones again in our hives. And Arnsa and I know we found a real Wally. It took a moment for his nanites to translate that to worthy prize. But it could kill me. He began softly, placing his hand on her slim humanoid shoulder, only to be interrupted by the doctor's timely entrance. Gregory was immediately hit with the smell of a lugobi. Crisp golden potatoes and cauliflower heaped on the plate he brought with him. His immediate response was to ask, "Where the hell did you find that, you ornery old man?" "Your mother prepared it. All that was needed was to warm it up," was the answer he got, and he instantly remembered Orlana's words earlier about his queen mother being here too. He groaned, knowing it was only a matter of time before she made her appearance. He was dreading that encounter. Even with the last message he had sent home, he hadn't mentioned Orlana and Arnsa, or their unique relationship. "She's waiting for you to get moved to observation." He handed the plate to him. "She's already set up a small shrine to Brahma. I'll be honest with you, your mother scares me. She's very devoted. The women visited Arnsa every day and placed a bindi where her head usually is, and I imagine Orlana doesn't have one today only because she hasn't seen her yet." He pulled out a scanner and began to move it slowly over Gregory as he ate the alugobi. "All right, Sergeant. I'm going to give you a booster for your nanites, and then Orlana can help you to your quarters." He walked over to a medical machine of some sort and pressed a few buttons. After a moment it beeped and he took out a syringe Gregory swore looked better used on an early 20th century ranch than a modern medical facility. Gregory simply held still as Dr. Lee administered the upgraded nanites. Dr. Lee motioned to Orlana as he finished up, and the woman stepped out and retrieved a medical grav chair from the corridor outside. She patiently waited for him to finish his plate before she picked him up and sat him in the chair. And to top it off, he was positive she had pinched him in the process. And even giggled about it as she waved goodbye to Dr. Lee and pushed him out. She seemed to know exactly where she was going through the corridors though, even stopping to briefly speak to various people along the way. Gregory noted she was very formal with them, but polite and genuine in her interactions. He noticed there was no guard with them. "We took the oath. Arnsa and I are officially United Sol Alliance citizens now," Orlana said with an excited expression on her face. She turned a corner and he was at a loss for words as she led him to the lift and pressed their destination in. "They just let you? Just like that?" he blurted out, grimacing at how harsh it sounded. She and her sister had done nothing but help them since their mother had surrendered and then tried to disembowel herself. He knew that and chastised himself for not controlling his thoughts, let alone his damn tongue. "Yes, Kalchalalka, just like that." She laughed as the lift continued its journey down. He hadn't even noticed the lift was traveling through the atmosphere until his ears tried to pop before pressure equalized. "We even acquired living space to start our new colony. I'll admit it took some work and it's not large." But Arnsa was relentless and finally persevered. He could feel her pride and something inside him wanted to join her. He didn't know exactly what to say, so he decided to tactfully change the subject. "And my mother?" he asked, arching an eyebrow as the lift hurtled towards Mars. He caught a flash of something. What was it? Fear. "Inaya is a strong, wise queen mother. Both Arnsa and I count ourselves very lucky she has not found any weaknesses in us. I do fervently believe she would cull us from the genetic line if she had found any. She says she doesn't know if someone named Parvati has blessed you or cursed you." He laughed at that. It sounded exactly like his mother. They continued their banter as they neared the planet and began slowing down. Their conversation turned more towards Arnsa as the lift stopped and the doors slid open. People made room for them to exit. As they did, Gregory could see they had arrived near the main hub of Mars Station's main habitat. Orlana pushed him onwards, eventually coming to another lift, this one an access lift leading to one of the lower levels. He thought for a moment that she might have literally been talking about a dark room deep in the ground. But they only took the lift down 2 floors and pushed him through a pretty sparsely populated area before leading him through an open exit to fresh air and a slight breeze. Orlana paused, and he couldn't help but notice she took a long deep breath and let out a little, ah, as she continued following the path. How far was it, he wondered. We're almost there. See the tall building right up next to the open dome? That's it, she said excitedly. Oh, I can't wait to show you. Since you're going to be on medical leave for a while, we wanted to make sure you weren't closed in. She smiled down at him. Something in his survival instinct screamed for him to run far, far away from that smile. But his brain kicked in and overrode that reaction with the same thing it had been telling him since he had grabbed Orlana and Arnsa to cuff them, and suddenly felt like 3 people were in his head. It's too late, you've already been had. He returned the smile though, hoping she hadn't read his thoughts. A Jabalix waved at Orlana as they entered the building, friendly, but Gregory could see the people seemed preoccupied. Everyone seemed so uptight, and a few even rushed in the direction of the hub. I wonder what's happening? He asked out loud as he looked up at a blinding flash. He blinked rapidly, trying to regain his vision. He heard Orlana gasp, and the chair stopped as she covered her eyes. He could feel the pain coming from her. Sharp and stinging. What the fuck was that? Came out as his vision finally cleared. His data chit started beeping and alert at the same time Orlana's did. He could tell she was blinded, he could feel it through their link. He stood, his legs barely managing to support his weight. The nanites had been working on repairing his unused muscles, and he could still feel them working as entire muscle groups burned like he had just spent a day doing PT in boot camp. He gritted his teeth and grabbed Orlana's hand. Come on. We have to hurry. We need to get inside and figure out what is happening. They managed to make it up the lane to the building. Inside, people were panicking and running out, making Gregory's progress slower as he tried his best to get to the lift. Once inside, they easily made it to the floor they needed, and Orlana's vision cleared enough she didn't need Gregory to lead her, and she helped his exhausted, nearly 8 feet tall ass get to the door to their quarters. They staggered into the room just as the entire building rocked and a large percussive shockwave slammed into it, cracking the large window in the center of the room. He could hear his mother's voice. She was praying loudly while trying to cover a large silk cocoon. Thanks for listening. Please leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the story. If you feel generous and want to support the author's work, go visit the Patreon link in the description. Any support is welcome. Until next time.